Welcome to the Kahuna Kangas 2021 Senior Best and Fairest Count and Award winners. Brought to you by our major sponsor, Charles L. King & Co., along with Mawson's Concrete and Quarries, Veolia, Grey Boys Construction, and the Barrel Boys.
Welcome to everybody out there in Kangaland. We'll commence our Senior Best and Fairest vote count, and our first game was against Kundruk Barham. They recruited quite a few good players and they thought they could take it up to us, but in the first game, from 1 vote, Sam Leach, 2 votes to our spiritual leader Tom Tomer, and 3 votes to Joel Hellman. 1 vote to Royce Free, as he is affectionately known in the press, 2 votes to Joel Hellman, 3 votes to Sam Leach. 1 vote to Joel Hellman, 2 to Tom Tomer, and 3 to TJ Jones. Our second game, we come up against Kerrang, who I was reliably informed they had the best side they've ever had in their entirety, and we dismantled them. It was a bittersweet day. We lost Harrison Keeley on the day, and it was a very, very emotional day, and the players put their best foot forward and had a terrific win. So 1 vote goes to Joel Hellman, 2 to Sam Leach, and 3 to Jacko Williams. 1 vote to Dan the Finger Patterson, 2 votes to Joel Hellman, and 3 to Jackie Dean. He played a ripper game that day. 1 vote to Joel Hellman, 2 to Tom Tomer, and 3 to Xavier Mitchell, who played a ripper off the halfback that day. Our third game was against Wirraneen up in the Grapevines. Half the players didn't find the ground that day, and I think that's why we got beaten, but anyway. 1 vote to Sam Leach, 2 votes to Joel Hellman, 3 to Jackie Donut. 1 vote to Mason Faring, 2 votes to Joel Hellman, and 3 to Jackie Donut. 1 vote to the human skullcap, Tyson Finlay, 2 votes to Jackie Donut, and 3 to Tyler Jones. Round 4, the Mallee Eagles. 1 vote to Tom Tomer, 2 to Reece Free, and the human skullcap got the 3 votes. 1 vote to Jack Dean, 2 votes to Joel Hellman, and 3 votes to Tom Tomer. And he also got him on the dance floor that night too in Swan Hill. 1 vote to Joel Hellman, 2 votes to Reece Free, and it was a very sunny day that day I'm alluding to, and we could hardly see the shine coming off the Tyson Finlay's head, but he also got the 3 votes. V Tim Tinder, 1 vote to Bobby Bird, 2 to Jack Donnet, and 3 to Joel Hellman. 1 vote to Xavier Mitchell, 2 to Jackie Donnet, and 3 to Joel Hellman. 1 vote to Reece Free, 2 votes to Tyson Finlay, and 3 to Tom Tomer. Round 5, 6 this is, and that's v Tooleybuck. And we give them a fair old shellacking that day, I'll give you the tip. 1 vote to Joel Hellman, 2 to Jack Donnet, and 3 to Jackson Williams. 1 vote to Jack Williams, 2 to Joel Hellman, and 3 to Jack Donnet. 1 to Tom Tomer, 2 to Joel Hellman, and 3 to Jacko Williams. we resume our vote count after a couple of weeks with the infection. We started back up at Balrattle, and that long trip, it was certainly an interesting trip on the way home, and I think a few of the boys stopped off in Swan Hill and kicked up their heels. But from one vote, Josh Bird, 2 votes to Jack Donnet and 3 to Joel Hellman. 1 vote to Joel Hellman, 2 votes to the big fella Dill Johnston and 3 to Reece Free. 1 vote to Reece Free, 2 to Joel Hellman and 3 to Tom Tomer. Round 11, v Swan Hill. 1 vote to Tom Tomer, 2 to Reece Free and 3 to Jacko Williams. 1 vote to Joel Hellman's love child, Riley Hurd. 2 votes to Tom Tomer and 3 to Jackson Williams. 1 vote to Reece Free, 2 votes to Jackson Williams and 3 to Tom Tomer. And now we zoom back to round 8 v Lake Boga. It was a bit of a struggle up there that day. Mitch Collins the 1 vote, Jackson Williams the 2 votes and Tom Tomer the 3. Sam Leach the 1 vote, 2 votes to the Jackson Williams and 3 to Tom Tomer. 1 vote to Riley Hurd, 2 votes to Tom Tomer and 3 to Jackson Williams. And we complete the final round v Naya here at home. 1 vote to Tom Tomer, 2 votes to Tyler Jones and 3 to Joel Hellman. 1 vote to Tyler Jones, 2 to the human skullcap, Tyson Finlay and 3 to Joel Hellman. 1 vote to Tyler Jones, 2 to Tyson Finlay and 3 to Joel Hellman. Thank you. Gives me great pleasure to name the 2021 Senior Best and Fairest to Joel Hellman. Tom Tomer runner-up, and Jackson Williams had a really solid year, coming up 3rd. Okay. All right, congratulations, Joel. You had an absolutely sensational season, missed a couple of games through suspension, which we all thought was wrong, but what could we do about it? But you accepted that like a man, and you come back bigger and better, and you've exceeded my expectations in terms of where you were as a footballer, and I think you've gone to the next level. You've matured as a person, not only as a person but a player also. When I ask for input out there on the track, and some Saturdays you willingly have something to say, and it's always to the point. And we're so happy you come back and played here this year, and you've committed for next year, and you tell me you're going to get better, and it's hard to believe that you could, but to you, Joel, it was a magnificent year, and hats off, well earned. Well done, Joel.
Thank you for this award. First one at the club, so it's finally good to knock Tommy Tomer off. Thanks Bricky, Jerry, Tyson, Tom for everything you do out there with training and getting the boys together on the weekend, the recruiting and everything else. He's done an absolute awesome job. Sorry for the swearing. For the sponsors and supporters, it's awesome to get you blokes over there and girls over there on a Tuesday and Thursday night, every weekend supporting us. For everyone behind the scenes, doing the tee, doing the gate, scoreboard, all that. Like that all adds up and takes time, which is awesome. So thanks heaps for that. I'd like to thank my old man. He's been my number 1 supporter for a long time. He makes sure I strive for the best and just keeps pushing me along, which is good. I don't think I would have been here if it wasn't for him, which is yeah, massive hats off for him. Also like to thank the playing group. You blokes are absolutely unreal. The team we put together this year, everyone bonds, how much we've actually gelled as a team. You can even see it now that the footy's finished and everyone's getting together and talking about next year, and like I've signed on for next year and most other boys have too, which is awesome. So I think there's big things that come at Kahuna in 2022. So hopefully most people will get on board and add a couple more extras, and yeah, hopefully bring home the big cup next year back to the Kangas, which is exactly what I'm after. So thank you for this award, and thanks everyone.
All right, ladies and gents, our runner-up, Tom Toma, who's really our spiritual leader. He's just about everything I always rave about him. You know, there's a fair amount of affection from yourself to Tom. There's no denying that, but he just ticks all the boxes. He does everything he possibly can to make us better. He's always driving standards out there in the track, and you can clearly see out there of a Saturday, he's just a wonderful, wonderful footballer, and consistent, brilliant. I don't know, the accolades just keep coming for Tom Toma, but you know, a fantastic year, Tom, and hopefully when you get up to Darwin, you know, you can certainly put a few games together and get back here bigger and fitter. Well done, Tom. All right, our most consistent player this year, and that goes to Jackson Williams. I was ever so happy when he rang me and asked whether he could play in our first practice match against some mob from Melbourne. And you could just tell that he was the type of player that we required. And it's been quite a while since I've seen Jackson play, but he's been down in Melbourne, playing at a very high standard with Carlton and Collingwood, and you could just see the polish and his improvement over the years. And he was just a wonderful, wonderful player for us. Speed, skill, strength. You know, his ability to connect from back to front was just wonderful, and he's certainly improved, and hopefully whatever Jackson sets his mind on, he will continue to do as well as he possibly can. So to you, Jacko, well done. Fantastic. Yeah. All right, our most improved, I couldn't split. There was a couple of guys that really jumped out of the clouds this year in terms of their improvement and the willingness just to play a role for our team. And Sam Leach is one. I think most who saw him play this year, you know, through necessity, we needed him to stand up in the ruck, and he did. But his ability to improve from week to week, particularly when he comes up against some really outstanding ruckmen from the opposition, I'm pretty sure Sam would have learned a lot from this year, and hopefully he has a big pre-season and gets a lot stronger, and he can be a fantastic player for us going forward. Local boy, just fantastic to see. And the other boy was Aaron Wilson. I don't know if most of you people would have probably seen Aaron 219, 218. He was sort of a little bit reticent to do things, particularly at senior level, but he's certainly improved in regards to that. He had a role to play, and it's always hard to come on and off the bench and play that wing role, midfield role, through limited minutes and all that sort of stuff. As the season progressed, he just got better and better and better, and you can just about, you know, you can bank on it. You can really rely on Aaron to go out there and have an impact. So to you, Aaron, and you, Sam, fantastic years. All right, gives me great pleasure to announce the most determined award this year, and that goes to Tyson Farrett. Probably not our most skilled or you know, outstanding player at all, but determination describes Tyson. It really does. Never missed a training, regardless whether he's working in Shep, had to drive back to Echuca, jumps in the vehicle and he's over here, you know, probably 5:45 nearly every night. And he had a role this year. He was the backup ruckman, the gaff, and he just did it with aplomb. And he took on board everything that was said to him, and you know, just determination. he dragged himself. I know he had an injury in his ankle all year. He didn't say anything, but he just kept whacking away and just he filled the role that we wanted from Tyson. So to you, Tyson, hats off to you, mate. Well done. Okay. All right, leading goal kicker. Wonderful achievement from Reece Free. Magnificent. I was ever so glad when we signed Reece, which gave us a centre half forward of 6'5". We had a full forward of 6'5". It was hard to cover, but just a Reece's year, absolutely sensational. At one stage there, I thought, well, they had to send a message out to all the pilots to divert the aeroplanes around the footy ground because he would have marked the friggin' Cessna. Some games he was absolutely sensational. His ability to, work under instructions was fantastic. But, look at his skill was sublime. His ability to get up the ground, mobility, his ability to mark the ball under severe pressure, and to finish off being a leading goal kicker, average 3.5, 3.4 goals a game in our 10 games is an absolute great achievement from Reece, and hopefully he can go on and do bigger and better next year. So well done, Reece. Okay, Lee Williams Memorial Rookie of the Year Award, and that goes to Oscar Cook. Oscar had a terrific year. He had one of those roles where he had to come on and off the bench, which is always difficult, but never whinged. Actually, it's hard to get a word out of him anyway, but he always did what was asked, which was absolutely fantastic. He was just one of those role players, and I think going forward, Oscar will be a permanent fixture out on the wing. His assets and main attributes are his skill level. He's not quick or anything like that, but as soon as he gets the ball, we retain possession, and that's invaluable. So to you, Oscar, well done, great year. All right, just being coach of Coonakangas is a genuine honour, and I treat it that way. You don't get through the year without a lot of people in the background and those in the forefront too. So I'd certainly like to thank our playing group for their support of myself. They took on board our game plan, and it was exhilarating to watch. Some days it was breathtaking. Some of the stuff our players were doing, you could clearly see it at training. There was a purpose, there was a method, and so to you guys, I really thank you from the bottom of my heart. Our assistant coaches, Tom and Tyson, wonderful, additions to our team and our town. I think, Tom's obviously a local, and Tyson's a new boy that's come in, and his efforts have been invaluable towards the playing group and recruiting and all that sort of stuff. So to you guys, thank you very much. Trainers, it's always a thankless task. Some guys take more tape than others to get onto the ground. I won't mention Tubbsy or anything like that, but Peps and Blair certainly did a fantastic job. So to you guys, thank you. Our water boy and Owen, it's a thankless job. There was a couple of times he didn't turn up and I had to do it myself, and I thought, oh my God, this is what the water boy does. But so to you, Owen, well done, congratulations. To our runners, Stevie, Reece, Corin, and there was a couple of others I just off the top of my head I can't remember, but it's the message that's sent out there, I don't know whether it's it gets twisted around or whether it's delivered the way I shouted out, but they did a fantastic job. To our line coaches in Dan and Harrison, fantastic job, lads. I think the players were certainly responsive to a lot of the stuff that you put forward. Excellent stuff, and hopefully you're on board for next year. Each Saturday we go out to play, and you look up at One Eye Hill or wherever we are, whether it be Balranald or Tulibuck or Manangatang, some far-flung places with bloody roly-polies running down the ground. I think we've got the best supporters and the most supporters in the competition, and they really support us extremely well. It's super important that not only them, the sponsors, our members, it's just a fantastic group to be around. And so to you, thank you very much. There's one bloke I'd really like to thank, and that's to Stephen. He's our footy manager. Wherever I've been, he's sort of been with me, and his foresight in the footy is second to none, and his attention to detail is just absolutely wonderful. And I think the club's in a really, really good position when you've got blokes like that involved. And to Rick and the rest of the board members, I thank you. As I said there, it's an honour to coach, and thank you for affording me that chance. Lastly, I suppose I'd better thank my wife Shelley. I just before come here today, I think we spent the last 2 weeks just on footy, and footy has finished for a month. But so to you, old girl, I thank you, and you've got another year of this to come. So to one and all, hopefully have a safe summer, and let's get back into it next year. So thank you. Bye.
On behalf of the football club, I'd just like to say a few words to our senior coaches for 2021. First off, Bricky, mate, couldn't think of a better guy to lead this group. Your passion, your knowledge is second to none, really, and these guys really respect you and value your input, and look, you're bringing the best out of these guys every week. So well done, Bricky. I believe it's the first time the Kangas have finished on top of the ladder in the seniors in the Central Murray, so that's an awesome achievement. Obviously didn't end how we'd like it to, but let's just set things up for next year to have a red hot crack at it. Well done, mate. To our assistant coaches in Tom and Tyson, you guys, mate, just always leading from the front. Training standards, your communication with the guys is exceptional. You're really driving high standards and sort of showing these young guys what needs to be done to play at the best level they can play. So guys, thanks for your input over the year. It's been extremely valuable and greatly appreciated from myself and everyone at the footy club. So well done, guys. To our midfield line coach in Cookie, great season, buddy. I really think you had a lot of valuable input into the group and brought a different dimension to the coaching panel. The guys really responded to your feedback, and I know you put a lot of work into reviewing the footage each week, and a huge thank you, mate. Your efforts and your understanding and your help throughout the year has been invaluable, so thanks, buddy. Harrison, obviously, mate, we would rather see you out there kicking torpedoes from centre half back, maybe sneaking down and kicking the odd sausage yourself, but devastating, the injury, mate, but let's look forward and let's get that knee right, and hopefully we can get you back out on the ground, and the club will do whatever we can to help you out there, buddy. In regards to your line coaching with the forwards there, tough gig with the big forwards, trying to keep them in tow, but I think you did a great job once you jumped into that role, H, so thanks for your efforts. Well done, guys. Okay, the footy club would like to thank the following people for their efforts throughout 2021. To Pep and Flighty as trainers, it's a difficult job. A lot of expectations put on you guys, and we are really lucky to have you two in there helping the guys. I do know the players really value your efforts and really do appreciate everything you do for them, so thanks, guys. To our team manager, Jeff Mason, well done, mate. Your efforts with all the paperwork and keeping things up to date is exceptional. Really made the game day office run a lot smoother. We had a few issues at the start of the year with jumpers not turning up when we needed them, and it made it quite difficult, but Jeff just got in there and got it done. So Jeff, thank you very much for your year, mate. Yeah, great stuff, buddy. On to the game day office, to Mel Scott, new person to the club this year, come over and jumped in and said, I want to help out. It's a role she'd done before at a previous club, so we got her in there and she never looked back. Great stuff, Mel. Thank you personally for freed me up to do other things, and I could have total confidence in what was happening because you were all across it. So thank you, Mel. To all our timekeepers, our interchange stewards, our umpires, whether they be boundary umpires, goal umpires when we needed them, and water boys, thank you. It is hard to get people every week, and it's so much easier when you have people come and say, hey, I want to help out, what do you need me to do? So to all you guys, thank you very much. And to Luke Reed and Corey Power, week in, week out, the guys put their hand up to do the scoreboard and also play a very critical role there for Bricky and the guys with doing some stats, and it was very valuable for the senior team. And Corey was all across it with his little iPads up there, maybe snuck in a couple of beers while they were doing it. But to you guys, thank you very much for your help. It's greatly appreciated. So to sign off for 2021, thank you to everyone that put their hand up and helped out in any way, shape or form. It does make it so much easier for the club to operate and for the guys that have to find these helpers. So thanks guys, and onwards and upwards for 2022.